Okay, then grassroots innovation in the construction. So we're starting with chapter 5. So chapter 5 is all about we are down. It starts with the information transfer, and so it starts. We are at the dawn of the information revolution, and we actually very far into it. If you think about if you ask any question, how quickly you can pull out your cell phone and get that information quickly and easily, whereas in the olden days you had to rely about extensively on past experience. So these days a good skill to have is actually doing research and having the knowledge how to do quick references to information. Then this chapter focuses further on the statements that business has to innovate or die. Okay, so we're going to have a look at that a little. And then no construction firms are listed as innovative. So from the research we could see that. But yeah, I think that's something which is almost like a given. In the previous chapters we dealt with all the reasons for that. I think there's legitimate reasons why we're not seen as innovative. And then innovation has the critical dimension of economic change, as discussed. So economic change is a big driver in innovation. The element of the grassroots innovation is discussed. And then in practice, the following headings is used. So organizing around your opportunities, utilizing corporate identities, taking an emergent view, being inclusive, developing unique resources, collaboration, and leveraging social capital. So please be able to discuss these headings. So please go through your book and read through it so that you at least know and can give examples of all of these. Okay, then all of the above is then applied in the construction industry. So what they did was they took all these categories and they looked at the construction industry and looked at where how they contribute, and they rated them accordingly. So the main conclusion that they got from this was finally the findings strongly support the research that found that strategy in the construction environment is more emergent than pre-planned, shaped by unexpected opportunities and the need to win work. So the main thing is it's project driven, as we saw in the previous chapters. Okay, then we look at chapter 6, regulations and innovation of the new bold insight into the adoption of diffusion microgeneration technology. So this is what we discussed at the workshop as well in the lecture the other day. It's all about acceptance by the community and regulation. So I'm just going to run through this. So I've already discussed this with you guys. I think everyone could at least heard what I've already explained to about this chapter. So it might be that I'll miss one or two things now, but I think you will get the idea. So I'm just going to summarize that again. Okay, so this chapter is all about a case study that was done in the UK, and it's this chapter specifically looks at the regulation towards sustainable buildings. So there was regulations imposed in the UK to make buildings more sustainable. Okay, then what they did was they retrofitted houses with new micro technologies like solar geysers and heat pumps and that type of thing. So what they basically concluded is that these technologies are not generally selected on their technical merit regarding the ultimate policy objectives, but rather for their cost effectiveness in effecting compliance. Okay, this is the key role. This is what you need to take note of rules and regulations. So the main thing is the guys specify them because it's a regulation, it's a tick box that they need to tick. Yes, we thought of alternative energy saving material, and not to add too much cost to the building, they chose the cheapest one that should be adapted to that. So instead of looking at the main goal of energy efficient supply of energy. Then in practice, regulations does trigger innovation in the sense that new products are adopted and new ideas are implemented in practice. However, the case of the micro-generation technology selected illustrates innovation is a complex process involving different actors with certain outcomes. Now, I need you guys to make the connection to chapter 2, where it was stated that innovation is driven by passionate people. So even though you have regulations that state you need to, for instance, in South African new regulations state that you have to have a professional health and safety consultant in each project. It is not implemented yet because there's certain stage gates. I think it's about 13 million and above, it's compulsory. But if you have passionate people, you can prescribe in your tender documents that health and safety, that type of health and safety consultants and your site-specific health and safety plan should be drawn up according to the regulations, should be implemented even though it's not needed. So that's where the passion comes in, and actually making it workable and not just ticking the box, and then in the end it doesn't really matter whether the site-specific specification was drawn up or not, because no one really looks at it. So that's where the passion comes in. Okay, now, although a micro generation technologies has been adopted, the carbon reduction will be limited because of the end user has interfered with the heat pumps. Okay, so you can see this is what typically happens. The community has to buy into that. Usually these energy efficient heat pumps, it's a little bit maintenance, needs more maintenance than your general geysers that you use on your general buildings. So in the end, just the home builder or the end user, sorry, I just missed that. In this particular case, therefore, the innovation introduced as a means of complying with the regulations will not fully satisfy the need of the policymaker, okay, the home builder or the end user, because it was made redundant, because it was bypassed. Therefore, whereas the rules and norms play a very important role, their effects are not always obvious and not always anticipated. Okay, so there's a bit of a path to walk. It doesn't, you're not going to change the world through policy alone. Okay, then I want you guys to have a look at this next video, and where innovation actually and passion drives development in Abu Dhabi. So please see the link that I've posted here and pasted in your video, and it's a nice enjoyable video, and the guys are talking about a whole lot of money, a bit out of our framework, I think. But yeah, definitely worth the view, and a lot of nice information that you can get from that. Okay, thanks, and that's chapters 5 and 6.